today's class is your AppFiles basics, and I'm covering from your home window to your settings to creating your first app file, working with a buyer, what the experience should be like. And I know it's a lot to digest, but remember, every class that I teach, I upload to YouTube the next day on the H&R Space Trainer YouTube channel. So check it out. It literally bring up YouTube, top line, type in H&R Space Trainer, press enter, and you'll see it right here at the top. There's 124 videos. I started this back when the pandemic started because I know y'all all have different things going on. Y'all have a lot going on. And I want you to be able always to get to classes that I teach, Tori teaches, Todd teaches. They're all in here. You can even see it right here. These are 2 videos. I just loaded the Labor Day card. Market realities with Jenny and Todd are up here. So go to the channel here at the top and you'll see all the videos. And if there's a certain thing that you want to learn about, check out the playlist. Go to the playlist and you'll see I have all these different categories that I cover, from website to CRM to toolkit CMA. It's all in here. And it's going to be ramped up even more when the holidays come. November and December, I am reloading all brand new videos just because I started off with a base. We need new videos. So check it out, subscribe to it. When you subscribe, the little bell at the top right here tells you that a new video is there. So it's always helpful. So yeah, that's the H&R Trainer YouTube. Enjoy it. Let's move into AppFiles. Okay, so I've had a few emails come in today and they flat out told me, hey, Drew, this is one particular part of AppFiles that I need for you to slow down and cover extensively. So I will do that. And I'll tell y'all when I'm slowing down to cover a certain item. Okay, so if you haven't been in AppFiles, you should know that to get into AppFiles, you can use My H&R Office to get in. It's over here on the top left under your hamburger for My H&R Office. Now, some people also save a shortcut to their browser if you want to get to it as well, but that will get you into your account. When you do this, you will come to your main window. Okay, I know it seems like a lot, but it's really not. Most of it's just repeating itself. Every part of this window is repeating itself. So starting at the top, you have your home button, which brings you to this home screen. When in doubt, you can come back. My AppFiles. This is all of your current AppFiles in order that you can search by type and also by name. So it's your active working files. Okay, that's here at the top, My AppFiles. Next to it is your Signature Request tab. Signature Request is your status of your signatures that have gone outbound through AppFiles. And I will show you how to send out a signature request, just like sending out e-sign or DocuSign. AppFiles does a great job of sending signature requests. You can also resend it if your client says they didn't receive it, or you can cancel it, all from the same tab. Every signature request has a link to it. So when things get hard and they're just not able to get to it for some reason, which we all know sometimes it happens with your clients, copy this link and send it to them. It is literally the signature link for this activity. It's good to have in your back pocket. This is one of those items people were asking about. There is always a way to check on the status or resend that signature request. Everybody good with that? Signature request tab gives you all those items. Okay. Also, it dates when it hits. So you might be able to tell them, hey, at this time, you check your email. Move my Zoom faces over. Next thing is your inbox. Go ahead and tell you flat out, you will not use this inbox. The way I'm setting up your settings, it will come to your Harry Norman email. So do not worry about this. That is why, yeah, keep it simple, keep it straightforward. That also leaves your clients with the reassurance that it's coming from you. It's not coming from hnbh.appfiles.com, which could be one of those skeptical, fraud situations, which we're all afraid of right now. So stay away from the anti-theft stuff. So don't worry about this. I'll show you how you can do your settings. Activity at the top. These are all the things that you're doing in your AppFiles. Changing the status of your folder, downloading a PDF, emailing a PDF. This is just kind of like your action window of things that you've been doing. Lastly are tasks, and tasks are kind of different for every person. Tasker, for instance, if you submit your app file to your staff members and they say, hey, Drew, you're missing this one document, they'll send you what's called a task, just reminding you, you need to do this. You need to add this amendment to your contract. And then you can close out your task on your main window. All right. And I want to hit my home window back. Like I said, everything reiterates itself. At the top, you have your task. In the middle, you have your activity. On your right side, you have your app files and your current folders you're working in. Okay. So everything just kind of repeats itself. When things go awry, I will tell you, AppFiles support is amazing. Far better than any FMLS or, Boston Logic. They are amazing. They get back to you, at least for me, within the hour. So just something to think about. If something looks really off or a folder is missing or a document seems out of place, if you can't get somebody in your office quickly, AppFiles is one of the best options. They do respond well.
Hey, Drew, can I ask a question there? Drew?
Please, of course.
Yeah, so on AppFiles support, do you happen to know if they have weekend hours or evening hours, or is it just Monday through Friday?
I think, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know they do address things over the weekend because I've had an agent mention that here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Of course. All right, so now that we've covered the navigation, I'm going to come over here to your settings. Now, this will be a one-time situation, okay? And this is your headshot, making sure everything looks right in your settings. Over here on your far left where it says settings, you're going to click on it and it will bring you to this window. Okay, if you're a new agent, this is important because you need to make sure everything looks right. You need to make sure your display name is your full name. Make sure it's your full name. User photo, very simple. If you're a new agent, you're probably still waiting, or you might have already gotten your photo from Katie Weeks or whoever you've gotten it from. You'll have to upload it into AppFiles. To do this, you're going to click on the browse button. And let me change my share real quick because we are on a different situation. Okay, right here, which pops up your browser to find it. I'm going to use my headshot here, which I hope will work. I'm going to say open. You'll see my headshot example is here, and I'm going to start upload to put my headshot in. If you have a new headshot, knock it out. Make sure you upload, get it into place. Okay. Let me see if that worked. I know that was kind of a, oh, yeah, there it goes. Perfect. Got a little delay, but your headshot pops in. Browse, find your headshot, start upload, your headshot goes into place. Pretty simple. Next is your cell. Make sure your cell phone is right. Make sure it's right, because if there's any kind of notifications or anything like that set through text messages, you want to make sure that's right.
Now, Drew, is this where we put our real phone number or the Google Voice number?
I would use your real cell phone number.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so email address and settings. This is extremely important. This is what I was talking about earlier. You're going to make sure your primary email address is your Harry Norman email. Scroll down a little bit. I would recommend, if you're new to AppFiles or you're new in real estate, just in general, click on this option that says copy my primary email address on all emails sent through AppFiles. The reason why is there's nothing better than knowing what's coming out of this system and when it hits. So if you're sending out a signature request or you're sending a PDF, you want to see it hit your email so you can say, hey, Jessica, just want to let you know this document hit my email at 3 o'clock. Check your emails to see if it shows up at 3. If it doesn't, it might have gone somewhere in another folder. So it's more of that back and forth. So I recommend this checkbox until you have several listings. That way it's a lot harder because there's a lot of communications at that point. An important feature is this checkbox right here. Spoof your email address by sending via AppFiles. This is what I mean by subbing in your Harry Norman email address. So make sure this is selected. Now, I have heard a few people say, oh, but it says that the cons are that it'll go to your spam folder. In the 3 years that I've taught this, I've only heard it happen once. So I would recommend it. Most of the time, it's just the person receiving the document had it go somewhere else, or they had a redirect, or they had a block, or something crazy like that. So most of the time it works. I mean, actually, I've only heard it happen once. So click on the spoof your email address, sending through via AppFiles. All right. Keeping this simple. Okay. This is putting your email footer into AppFiles. Very simply, you're going to open your email, bring up a blank email, just a blank email, compose a blank email. Okay. You're going to send, see this email address right here? You're going to send your signature to this email address. Okay. Does that make sense? Or do I need to do a quick example? Here.
Please, quick example.
You got it. All right. So I'm in my email.harrynorman.com. Okay. Very simply, I'm in my email.harrynorman. I'm going to click on new message. Oh, I think someone needs to mute real quick, please. Okay. I'm going to hit new message. A blank email. Somebody still has their.
No.
All right. So I'm going to compose an email with just my signature in the body. Just my signature. And I'm going to, I can name this. It doesn't have to be named anything, but I'm going to put signature. And I'm going to send it. I'm going to send it to this email address right here. Copy it, say email address copied, say okay. I'm going to come back to my email address and I'm going to paste it right here. After I do this, I hit send. Pretty simply, right? Open up a blank email, make sure your signature is in there. If you don't have a signature, write a quick signature for yourself. You know what needs to be in it. Your name, your title, your phone numbers, your office address. If you don't know the best way to do an email or a signature, check out your broker's signature. I recommend if you do not have a signature set up, copy your broker's signature and just change out the information for you. They do it correctly with their formatting. It always helps. Okay. After you do this, you're going to come back to this window and I'm just going to close it and I'm going to hit refresh. I'm going to refresh my window and go back into settings and my signature is now up to date. That's how you know it. It's not immediate because you have to refresh the window. Okay. Do I have any questions about setting up your signature? Looking at faces real quick. It's better when y'all are in person. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that. All right. So the last feature we have to cover is your default mobile view. Most of the time it's already set for full desktop view. That's where you want it. The odds that you're going to use your little teeny phone or a very small iPad is very rare. You're probably going to be a computer when you're writing a contract. So set it for full desktop view. It's all about the diameter of the window. That's just a recommendation. Okay, cool. So that's your settings. Not bad. Close out your window. All right. Also on your left side, if you need to print blank forms, you're in a hurry, you need the documents. Over here on your left side, you can print a blank form. Click here, use your filter, find the document you need, download and print it, or just straight up print the form. I know y'all agents have a lot going on and y'all are in a rush sometimes. This is an option to actually print the document. All right. Now for homework. I always call this homework because I feel like agents need to take advantage of this, okay? Over here on your left side, there is a form values link, okay? I am not a super heavy boozer, no, I'm just kidding. But if you had a long night and you wanted to get this done, one good drink, these documents that are in your form values, you can pre-fill in some of the items. Okay, that's what I mean by that. It's a little bit tedious, but it's a one-time thing. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I'm going to select my buyer brokerage agreement. Okay. Say I go to page 6 of 10, which I know that's where my office information is as an agent. This is information that will always be there. Okay. So fill in the information as you as an agent, because every time you use this in AppFile and you bring this document into a folder, it'll already be pre-filled in. Okay. Like I said, one good night, check out your purchase and sale, your buyer brokerage, look at the documents and see where you can pre-fill in information that will always be right. This will be valuable later on when I go over importing values, because you can use these form fields to import onto other documents to get the ball rolling quicker. Because I don't want you to have to bring up each document and try to write in every single thing.
Drew, where do we find MLS office code and brokerage firm license number?
It's actually, I'm not sure if it's still on the cloud. You're looking for the directory, the company directory.
No, I'm just seeing that pre-filled on the form you have here pulled up.
Yes, because my license, well, this is actually Emily Norris's license that I'm using here, and she's out of the Buckhead office.
Okay.
So that's her office code for the Buckhead office is 11.
Mm-hmm.
So your office managers will know what number you are. I believe Northwest is 15, I believe. But the brokerage firm license number is this for Harry Norman.
Oh, so we all put that one in.
This one is, yeah, this one is the same for everywhere. And of course,
Okay.
your brokerage number is your office address. So this is some of the, you might, if you don't know what your office code is, just reach out to your office manager. She'll tell you flat out.
Okay.
I just don't know them off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
That's good to know. I'll bring it next time. I have the directory somewhere. It's just between now and Ninja. I don't know where it is. All right. So, but does everyone understand what I mean by form values? These are the documents that are saved in AppFiles that you're going to be reusing. And you have the ability to pre-fill in some information.
Okay.
Looking for a few head nods. I like it. I know it's a little tedious, but get it done. I get it. How many times I get emails from agents that goes, Drew, where can I pre-fill in some information so I don't have to do it every time? This is it, form values.
Hmm.
All right. All right, before I move on, I've covered navigation, your settings, and I've hit on form values. Do you have any questions before I move into creating a new app file? No? Looking around. Perfect. I like it. And for those of you who don't have your webcam on, shame on y'all, because I can't see. All right, let me dive on in. All right, so when it comes to creating a new app file, your goal is as simple as this. You are creating a file folder for your contact, not for the transaction, not for the listing. You're creating a file folder because you know Mike Smith, okay? And you don't know what his next thing is going to be, but you have his folder. That's what AppFiles is all about. It's your file management system. So I need to create a AppFile folder for Mike Smith. Over here on the left side, there's a green button that says create new app file. And I'm going to start the process of creating a file folder. Okay. And I'm going to start off by naming it Mike Smith. And today he's going to be my buyer. Under the file type, I'm going to name buyer. Okay.
Now, Drew,
When you
if he
select
becomes seller, you need to change his folder.
I'm sorry?
If later he becomes a seller, do you change his folder?
No, actually, you would create another app file folder because it's a new transaction situation.
Okay.
Completely different documentation in it too. So in this, you're given a few file options, file information that you can fill in, pre-fill in. So whatever you know now already, you can put in, which will help you long-term for the next document. So say you know that it's going to be a residential single family, If you already know what the listing is, if you're kind of ahead of the game and you know what he's interested in, you can go ahead and put in some FMLS information. Selling agent side, you'll notice this throughout AppFiles. You have areas where you can go ahead and pre-fill in information. So take advantage of what you know and fill in as you go. Then you'll click next. So in this window, this is called select your users. And what this is if you are a part of a team, if you're a husband, wife, or you and your partner, or you have someone that you're part of a larger team, this is where you can add a user to this app file so they can contribute and work on the same app file folder. Now, you already notice on your right side, you have your staff members who have access to your app file already. So when you're submitting documents or you need things to be reviewed, they have the opportunity to dive into your app file folder if you let them, or let them know to. So say I want to add Alex Lowe, I would click on the plus sign. On the right side, Alex Lowe now has access to my app file folder. It's as simple as that. It's also that when you send certain communications, these users can be a part of it and they will receive the communication as well. They'll be a part of that chain. I'm going to remove him and I'm going to create the app file. Just as simple as that. App file folder has officially been opened. Not too scary, right? Got a folder for Mike. Now I have to think of all the documents that I need in this folder for this transaction. And of course, everything that I'm doing in here, I want to be very meticulous because it helps me long-term. Labeling certain documents certain ways, the way that my office managers likes it. Be systematic with it. Clean documents in your app files help you long-term. So let's get started with the first document that I have. On my far left side, when you want to add a form that is saved within app files, you're going to click the Add Forms option. When you do this, you'll see these are all the documents that are saved in app files that you need to add to this app file folder. Okay. First thing I know right off the bat is I need to add my buyer brokerage. Okay. In this search line, you can type in a word that will help you find it. I see my buyer brokerage right here. I want to add this document into the folder. So I'm going to click to add it, and it will show up on my right side as a separate document. Now, if I add two documents, they will come together into my app file folder. And you can separate them. I will cover how to merge and separate, of course. But I'm going to add my selected form. When you add your selected form, it will literally open right when you add it, just like that. Okay. You'll also see over here on the far left side under general paperwork, my buyer brokerage is over here. Okay. So with this document, I fill it all out. Everything's ready to roll. And I'm ready to send for signatures, right? And I know a lot of people kind of fight the signature request on this. It's very easy, honestly. The big difference between it and DocuSign is that you have to send them separately when there's more than one person involved on your side. So if you have a husband and wife or a partnership, you would have to send to Mike, you'd have to send to Susan, or you have to send to Joe, and you have to send to David. That's how this system works. In a way, it's actually more beneficial because you can track them separately. So say Susan signs, you can tell Mike, hey, Susan's already signed, where are you at? So there's a little bit more benefits to it rather than being in a cycle, a signature cycle. So over here on the green button, you can click to sign now and you can sign your side as the selling agent. You'll click next, you'll hit your signature options, and your side is in. Here in the center, the request signature, you click on this, you scroll down a little bit, and you will start your signature request off of this document. All documents have this blue button on it for signature, if there's a field. I'm going to start the signature request. Now, one thing I will recommend, I always say this about these classes, in AppFiles, create a test app file folder for yourself. Please write this down. Create an app file folder for yourself.
I'm making it right now.
Yes, please. Because I mean, Act as though you're purchasing your own home. You know, go through the motions. Bring in a document, send the signature request to yourself, see how it hits your email so you know what to expect and what to tell your client, okay? Every time I've seen someone leave, they're like, oh, I don't feel so good about this. Well, why don't you try it on yourself? No one's going to see this app file folder unless you submit it to your staff members. So have a test folder. I'm going to start the signature request. In this signature request, I'm going to put in the signer's name, which is Mike Smith. And he is my buyer signature 1. I'll click next. Now, if I need a broker engagement date and time to timestamp the signature, I can select this. But since I'm using this for a buyer brokerage and Mike and I had a great day of looking at homes, I'm not going to force him to sign any particular time. I'm good with just whenever he wants to sign this agreement. I'm going to click next, but you can stamp it. All right. So this is what the signature request email looks like when it comes in to Mike. You'll need to put in his email address here. So I'm going to use an example. It changed both of these. I didn't mean for that. Okay. I'm going to put in an email address to send for the signature request. And in this body of this email, you can change all of this text except for the link. Okay. So if you want your message at the top here, say, hey, Mike, I had a great time taking you and checking out homes in Woodstock. Lunch was great at Pure. I appreciate you. Here's the link that we discussed about signing for our agreement between the two of us, the buyer brokerage agreement. So he understands what he's receiving. Okay. A lot of times when they receive links, they're like, what is this? This would be your chance to explain it. After you do this, that back there, scroll down a little bit and you're going to click next. This is where we talked about earlier. If you have another user, this is where that user could also be a part of the communication that goes out for signatures. Okay. If you need to add, like I showed you, Alex Lowe, if Alex Lowe needed to be a part of this signature request, he could be there. If not, you send for signature request. Very simple. That's one person. If you needed to send it to Mike's wife, you would start the signature request again, but this time you would say buyer 2 this time and go through the same exact process. When you send for this signature request on the home window, let me refresh it real quick. You'll see the signature request now is 2, and there's Mike Smith's signature request right here that went out. Got any questions? Francisco, I see you shaking your head. What do you got going on? You're muted, bud.
Sorry, I was responding to an email.
Oh, I was like, oh no, I lost him on a signature request.
No. I got this part down.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I
managed
mean,
to write a couple, so I got this part down, and then I was like, I got distracted. Someone sent me an email, and I was like, hey, I'm right back real quick.
what distractions happen with real estate agents? Really? I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I feel
No,
like a
no,
bad
it's all
student now.
good.
Everyone's judging me now. Everyone's looking at my screen like, who is this kid? Why is he
No,
not paying
no.
attention?
You know, like I always say in these classes, especially with the Zoom, I look for faces because I don't want to lose somebody.
Mhm.
You know, I don't. And usually when we're in person, I'm standing behind them because I want to make sure they don't get lost, because that's the worst thing that could possibly happen.
Right.
So it's all good. Seriously.
My bad, man.
No, there's
focused,
nothing.
I'm
No,
focused.
seriously, you're good. Ryan, you got a quick question?
Yeah, speaking of distractions, because I had to run away too, did you include by any chance in the email signature about the fraud paragraph that you have?
So the fraud actually populates on its own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, your signature will show up and then it will add the fraud below it for you.
Understood. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, that's a great question. Thank you. And that is a great question. Cool. All right, so we're good on the signature request. It's not scary. Like I said, practice on yourself, see how it comes in so you know what to expect and also what you can communicate to your clients. All right, so one thing I want to point out that power users, seriously, power users of AppFiles do is they take advantage of what's called file info fields over here on your right side. Now, it's up to you how much you want to fill in, but these are actually values that you can use on your documents to shortcut everything. So for instance, if I want to fill in my lender information, because I already know that he's been pre-approved with Prosperity, I could do it right here. I can click on the edit button. I can say the company's Prosperity, have their address, officer's name. I'm just going to say Catherine. Oops, butchered that name. Catherine Jones. Say I have her email address, but I fill in this information because I want to use these on other documents. I mean, every time I work with an agent who uses AppFiles religiously, they have these fields filled in to the full extent because they're getting this information over time. When I close it, you'll see lender information is over here on the right now. Okay, that means every time you have a document where it's asking where this lender information is, you could pre-populate it in, and I'll show you how to use that button. Also, master buyer template is probably one of my favorites. You click on the master buyer template. Here is all of these fields that you could pre-fill in. You know more and more about your buyer. You could fill in, we already know his name is Mike Smith. His email address is msmith@gmail. Whatever you feel like you want to fill in, you can. 770-686-6992. Close the information field, and now it shows up when you're right. These will be very important when I show you how to import values. But that's my next step. I'm going to come over to add forms, move my Zoom window over a little bit. Add forms, and this time I am going to add my purchase and sale. And also Mike is going to be using a conventional loan. So I'm adding these two documents at the same time, which will merge them temporarily in my app file folder. Okay. Add selected forms. And now you see they're on my left side, and here it is. Okay. All right. So this is probably my favorite part. It's importing values, and anything that shortcuts your job, I'm all about, of course. So up here, where it's the yellow button that says import values, I'm going to click on this, and you have 4 different options of getting data into this form. Okay. First one, I'm going to import from a form.
Sorry, Drew. I think I may have missed how you got into that form as I was trying to follow along.
No, you're fine. Let me close everything. So all I did was I went over to add forms.
Okay.
Yep. Just like I did with the buyer brokerage. And I selected my purchase and sale.
Okay.
Okay. That was my first one. And then I also added my conventional loan at the same time.
Are you merging those files or something?
When you add the 2 documents at the same time, they come together merged, yes. But you can separate them. I'll show you how to split them. It's very easy.
So you said that was purchase sale. Sorry, I'm trying to like do
Yeah,
this.
of course. Type in the search line, purchase. And here it is right at the top, your F20201, purchase and sale.
Okay.
And then also his financing is going to be a conventional loan.
Okay, so
So
that's
conventional.
FMLS.
And then when you have these 2 documents, they will come in merged.
Oh,
Yeah.
Instagram Live. Oh, that's true.
okay, cool. Thanks, Drew.
Yeah, not a problem, seriously.
It's a complicated-
So now I have got somebody.
Do you guys talk differently when you shoot videos to review? No, but lately I've been saying thank you, like the guy we follow on. There's a guy we follow who says something quick and then.
Someone mute their
You know, I've been trying that and Bruce is like, you guys.
found it. I won't tell you who it was. Okay. All right, I'm going to open up my purchase and sale again that has my conventional loan in it. And what I want to do is I want to take form values from somewhere else into this document to fill it in quickly. So I don't have to write everything. And it just takes just a couple of clicks. So I'm going to click on import values, and it gives me 4 different options: form, info fields, FMLS, Georgia MLS. I'm going to try forms first. Okay. So in my buyer brokerage, because I filled in my form values, one night of filling in your form values, it's very helpful because it fills in other things. Okay. One night of doing it, knock it out, y'all. I have 11 values that I can bring into this purchase and sale. Okay. I'm going to hit choose. I'm going to bring that information in. Here is all that information we were looking at, including that office code, the license of, all that information I showed you earlier. I'm bringing that information with a matter of 2 or 3 clicks into this document. So I don't have to write it. The more you fill in, the more of those fields are available to you. So it goes really quick. I mean, I won't lie. You'll fill in most of the document in a couple of seconds of clicks. So I'm going to start my import and I'll just hit done because here's the items. And if I scroll down, the very first one you'll see, it's the company, which was one of the items. Okay, not bad, not bad. You can see why people like it. I mean, really, they fly through these values. What you got, Ryan?
So do you have to create a new app file every time? So, say Mike Smith, the buyer, or is there a way on the app file home screen to create that buyer template or like a listing agreement template as well? Like, or do you have to create, a buyer? Does that make sense?
Ryan, I like your question because I taught an advanced class of this before, where yes, I created a buyer template.
Okay.
And I put the buyer brokerage, the purchase and sale, and I put all the different financing options, so that when I clicked, I brought up the buyer template and I hit clone and I just reused it.
Perfect. That's how I operate, or that makes sense. So
no, I'll show y'all how to do that at the end, how to make a clone of it. Yeah, I like it. Cool. Thank you. So I'm going to hit import values again. And yeah, and if you had all that information already there, you've cut out so many steps. So yeah, I'm with you all the way. Info fields. Remember this? This is your lender information, your master buyer template. Click on this and you'll see I have 3 values from that master buyer template I did earlier. I'm just going to drop them in. Choose. There's the information on Mike Smith and his email address and his phone number. Start import. So, I mean, people utilizing this is important because you can fill this in over time. You know this information. So make it easier. So I'm going to hit done. And then those information are now in there. Or I could just do the next import. Import values. My absolute favorite is FMLS, especially with a purchase and sale. So I'm going to click on import from FMLS or Georgia MLS, whichever one you're using. And I'm going to bring up an example of a listing that I'm going to be referencing today. Cedar Branch Court, which is actually the first time that I've referenced a listing that's in my neighborhood, which is kind of cool. Never had that before. So I'm going to paste it in. That's just the FMLS for the, 1101 Cedar Branch Court. And I'm going to hit search. And there it is. So it found the listing. This purchase and sale needs a lot of information on this listing because this is what he's going to be making an offer on. I'm going to hit choose. And here is all the information on the listing that's going to come into this purchase and sale that I don't have to write. Now, this is also an opportunity to see if there's anything that's being contested as well, like if the lot's wrong or something like that. So you would deselect it if that's the case. I've had that come up once or twice. So all you're going to do is you're going to scroll down a little further and it's asking, is this external data? It's basically, is it correct? I acknowledge this is coming from an external site. Start import. And this information is coming into my purchase and sale and I hit done. And you already tell it fills in. Okay, it's pretty cool. Right. So do I have any questions on importing values? I recommend doing the gambit. Do your test run of your app file, fill in a bunch of information, see how it drops in when you import values, and just get comfortable with knowing that you don't have to write everything. Don't write everything. Cool. So one little thing I'm going to point out before I move on from this, you can send this document from this page via email. Right here, send via email. If you need something proofed before you send for signature, this is a great option. Okay. Also, Under actions, you have a few other options. You can print, you can download, you can do, a lot of things are being repeated. So when you see things, they're usually somewhere else as well. Just something to think about. Because you see right here where it says print and download, it's also up here at the top left, print and download. Okay. All right, so that's using the general paperwork that is actually within your app file folder. Okay, it has your GAR forms, it has all of your stipulation forms, they're all there. But one thing you might want to do is bring documents from an outside source, may it be email, your computer, or an FMLS itself where there's documents, into your app file folder. Okay, and there's two different ways to do this. It's pretty neat actually. So I'm going to go back to that listing, the 1101 Cedar Branch. And it has documentation tied to this listing. This is the disclosures and all those different documents they've uploaded in Remind. Okay, so I'm going to hit documents. And let's see what she has. Okay, so we've got my exhibit, upgrades. Yeah, we've got legal, we've got plenty of documents we can bring into our app file folder. From here, you're going to download it to your computer. You can either do it individually, or you can download them all as a compressed folder. I've already downloaded it just so we can spare us some time. So it's sitting on my desktop currently, these 4 items. Excuse me. So my job is I need to get those 4 documents into this app file folder. Okay. The first way I'm going to say it, which is really actually extremely cool. Every app file folder you create has an email address assigned to it right here. Okay. The reason why this is cool, you have an agent who sends you floor plans or something that's tied to the listing. You can forward email it right into this app file folder. See, it cuts out that step. It just goes straight in. Okay. And another thing that you can do that's really neat is you can edit this. Instead of it being 11485 at blah, 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 I'm going to name it Mike. Save changes. Personalize it a little bit. A lot of agents that I know, they'll save this into their phone under their contact. If they ever need at any point to go, oh my God, I need to send it to that app file folder, it's in there in their notes. So just something to think about. It's pretty neat. There's a little bit of customization to it. So that's one way of getting documents into your app file folder. You can email it, you can forward it in.
Drew.
Another way is you can just, oh yeah, what's up, Stuart? Hey.
Yeah, this is, this I never knew about. This is great. So if we could go back to your example, I think you talked about like a floor plan.
Yes.
Would we, let's say I'm the buyer's agent. We're looking at a home. The buyer wants to see the floor plan and the listing agent has it.
Okay.
Would I provide that email address to the listing agent and then he or she would email me the floor plan using that email address? And it would go into
right into your app file. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That email address is just the connection to this folder. You could email it into your app file, or you could tell them, hey, could you email those floor plans to this email address? And it would go into your app file.
Wow. Okay. Great.
Yeah. It's pretty fun. I mean, I remember when I first taught it to a few people and they're like, wait a minute, what you're telling me is I don't have to download it to my computer and I don't have to hit the upload button and get it into, I can literally forward it or have someone email it to it. Yes, absolutely. Keep it simple. Now you can do the basic stuff of uploading file. There's a button right here that says upload file. And I'm just going to upload the documents that are sitting on my desktop. So there is that option as well. So I'm going to hit the browse option. And, oh, you're there, sorry. I'm just going to hit open and I'm just going to grab a few of these one after the other. I've got a lot of stuff on my desktop, sorry about that. Grab it. I'm just going to select them and hit open. So these documents sitting on my desktop are going to be uploaded into my app file folder as uploaded documents. So I'll hit start upload. It's going to start. Oh, there it goes. Files are uploaded. You say OK. And now my documents are uploaded over here on the left side for me to use. Now, be mindful, these are coming in the same way the agent named them. Okay, so a smart agent would know that they need to rename these documents, these items. Even if you compress them and submit them to your staff and they break it apart, which a lot of staff members do, they'll split apart documents, you should have the naming correct, okay? So firstly, I'm not going to tell you exactly how you should name it. I'm going to recommend, but the truth is you should ask your staff members how they want it named. Do they want the address with the FMLS number? Do they want just the address? You might want to check with your staff and see how they would like for it to be named. Every office has different naming convention. So in this situation, I'm going to open the document. And at the top here, where there's the name of the document, I'm just going to click the pencil mark and I'm going to rename it. So for this situation, it is what, 101, make sure I've got the name right. Exhibit A. So my continuous naming convention throughout this folder will be that. Okay, I'll click the checkbox right here. And now this document is named the address plus what the exhibit is. Okay. Everything should have that option too. Let me do this. Keep your documents clean. Everybody get me with this? I'm gonna just check everybody's heads, understand? Keep a clean app file. All right.
When you say clean, what does that mean?
A strong, like, let me see. Oh, naming convention. Keep a strong naming convention so that they understand what each item is. Because also that when you compress this document, when it has the line of the order of exhibits, they're in the right order.
Okay.
That's what's so important about your naming, making sure you know where it goes and what it's named for. Because staff members will sometimes ask you to compress it and send it in, compress your contract and then submit it. Others will split them right apart and look at all the different items that are inside to make sure you have everything covered. So naming it is very important.
Okay.
And with that in mind, I'm actually going to show you how to merge and split docs because that's going to come up a lot for y'all. And notice, I know a few agents, what they tell me is they like both. So if you were to merge all your documents, you could make a copy of it and then have one split apart as well. Just something to think about. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You have all your documents, everything's signed, you merge the documents, you make a copy of it, and you have the second one that you split up so you have everything all visible. Just something to think about. I've heard a few people say that in my past classes. All right, so over here on the left side, there's a merge paperwork button right here. Okay, so when I do this, I'm going to select my documents I'd like to merge. I'll hit my purchase and sale, which brings it over here on the right side. Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C, Exhibit D, and they're all over here on your right side. Okay. If I need to move one, I can do it here. There's many opportunities for you to move documents within a merged document or within a merged field. So I'm going to move this by clicking the green line button and move it up. I could also just remove the document altogether by clicking the red button with the dash in it. Okay, so I'm merging everything together here. Merge selected documents, they start to process and they compress them together. Which leads to a merged doc that has 27 pages now. Okay, nothing is set in stone. Don't think that anything's set in stone. If I need to split these right back apart, there's a big blue button right here at the top that I just click and I just select all the items in that merged doc and I am just going to split it right back apart. Okay, how many times I've seen an agent go, oh my God, I merged them all. And I first say, oh no, and then I just start laughing. So I know that you can break it right back apart. So it's really easy. Merge paperwork, select the documents, purchase and sale, conventional loan, exhibit A, exhibit B, C, D, and I'm just going to merge selected. And now they're all together again. I'm mean for that, I know. All right, do I have any questions about merging docs? It's not bad, right? Cool. Well, let me split them back apart. I've got one thing I want to, oh, actually, before I do that, note one thing. If there is actual pages that are out of order, there is a button right here that says edit pages. Oh, not bad. I can change the order of the segment, or I can change the order of the pages in the segment. Now, what I mean by this, this purchase and sale is a segment. It's its own entity. It's together. So if I want to change the order of the segment, right here where it says change form order, I would click on it and I can move the order of the document I need to move. Okay, that's the segment. And I hit save changes. Now, if I scanned in a document, one of these, and I have a page that is out of order, I can click on the organized pages right here and it would change the pages within the segment. So every one of these segments has a blue button that says organized pages unless there's one page. Okay, so say I need to move a page, I would click on the organized pages and I can move the page that is out of order. So you can change the segment or you can change the pages. Not bad. It's not bad. Save changes, everything's together. I can go back to edit fields where I'm back to my document. Okay. Next, I'm going to split these back apart because I want to do one thing that I told a person in this class I was going to slow down and do. So I'm going to split these documents apart again. And I'm going to bring up one of my exhibits. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an item. I'm going to add an element. Every page on these documents has a blue button right here that says edit. And this is your opportunity to add an initial field, a signature option, add a text block, a slash through, a checkbox, all those different options, okay? So I'm going to have fun with this. And I recommend everyone who's getting into AppFiles to try this. I'm going to click the edit button on this page, my exhibit A. When you do this, you get the different elements that you can add to this document. Now, all items have this. If you have to add a signature request, like a third signer, this is how you would do it. You'd find the page where you need to add the signature field and you would place it in. Okay. So first things first, on the left side, I can add a text block. Okay. All I did was I clicked on the text button, turned it green. It gave me a cursor and I can click down on the document. And for instance, say I want to make this a B instead of an A. I'm going to type B and I'm going to hit create. Okay. Now I can click on it again. I can delete the element. I can change the properties on the element. Okay. Say I need to make it larger. Okay. Or I can just remove it altogether. Just by clicking on it once, which turns it yellow, you can also move it. Okay. Clicking it once turns it yellow. You can do what you need to the item. Say I want to add an initial field here. On the initial field option, you need to choose what the role is. So if I need an add initial for the buyer here, click on the role, click on place initial, bring it over to your document and you click down, which adds the initial field. Okay. What I recommend is try this. Take a page like I have here, the legal description, and start dropping all the elements on it and see how it works and what you use it for. Also for your signature request, select role. You'll see all the different roles here. Buyer signature, place signature, take it over to your doc, drop it down. If you need to move it, click it once, move your item. If I need to use a strike through line, select it. I'm going to come up and I'm going to change this to B. So I'm going to put, let's put the strike. Okay, it's a big line. I'm OCD. I'm going to click on it once. I'm going to take the corner of it here. Oh, my cursor is so big. And I can make it smaller just by bringing it in. Click on it once. I can go on top of my A. Not bad. Does anybody have any questions on using elements? It really gets fun. I would recommend giving it a shot. Bring up a document like this that you scan in and just start dropping in elements and see how it works. These elements can be used on all subpages that you use here. So
Can you do a text box real quick? Because one
Sure.
time I was writing some extra steps and then I put a text box in there and then I
Yeah.
couldn't get rid of it. And then every time I clicked it, it made another text box and I
Oh.
had like 4 text boxes on it.
interesting. Then you still had this selected then that you were going to add it.
Okay.
Like, so I have, yes, I already have one on here.
Okay.
Click down, Drew. 16, there's my text block.
Mhm.
Oops. Click on it, this other text block that I have here, and
Okay.
I can just
okay.
delete the element, say, okay, it's gone.
I don't know what I was doing then. 'cause it
Well,
was
you might have been
kinda
just stuck on that text button staying green, the action,
Uh-huh.
and it kept dropping them down.
Okay.
Yeah. But remember, when it comes to special steps, you can add a special steps page, which is
Mhm.
just a
Oh, that's
blank
right.
page, and add it in, and that's where you could put your special steps in.
Okay.
There's literally a page in the add forms that's just for adding extra special steps.
So what if I like write something like this, Drew, and you save this file, right? And then you wanted to go back and edit that. Could you get rid of it?
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Okay,
As
so
long as this
if-
document hasn't been signed, you can do whatever
Okay.
you want to it. Say I want to
Nice,
close it
okay.
now. Here's all my items. I can just as easy come back and hit the edit button and take it all out.
Okay.
Yeah, come here, click on this, delete the item, say, okay, it's gone. Click here.
Okay.
It's yellow, delete it, it's gone. Yeah.
Okay.
As long as it's not signed, you're okay. I'm gonna close
do.
out. All those items are in place. All right. So one thing I want to point out, in each app file, you also have the ability to send updates to your staff members. So say that you had your buyer brokerage signed and you wanted to let your staff members know that, hey, Mike Smith has signed the buyer brokerage agreement. I just want to let you know. You can hit on this create an update and you can let your staff member know any status that you have going on. If you're waiting on something, if something's missing or something like that, you can do an update here as well. Trying to see if there's anything else that y'all might have questions about.
Drew, I have a quick question on that
Please.
point. So when you were talking about just doing the updates, the staff members that we select, are they receiving an email or do they have to be in AppFiles to get an alert, or how do they, how
So
are we actually communicating with them?
it depends on what their settings are as a staff member. Some prefer emails, some just check their, like for instance, I know for a fact the Buckhead staff members check their app files daily. And I mean, they're in it all day long. Same in this office here at West Cobb. I know for a fact Doris has app files open all day long. So when an update comes up, she sees it. Some that don't, which I don't believe there's many, they get emails. So they
Okay.
don't let it pinned. They won't let it pinned. Let's see. Okay, so with that in mind, turning in your documentation after it's been signed, you can give an update, but also you can come over here to the actual buyer brokerage that's now signed, and you can change the section. Now rename it. Please remember to rename your docs. Say buyer brokerage dash Mike Smith. Okay. You can change the section to broker docs, which will also give them a status update that this has been signed. Now, check with your office manager, see how they want you to turn these docs in, okay? Some have special doc folders that they have. So just check with them once and say, hey, how would you like for me to turn in my buyer brokerage agreement? They'll probably say broker docs, but I don't want to just assume, of course. So changing it to broker docs, it's now visible to Doris. I can come over here. Doris, Mike has signed the buyer brokerage. Come over here, find Doris. I'm actually in the Buckhead office. That's funny why I chose Doris, but, and you just let them know, hey, it's been signed. Scroll down a little bit, create update. Can I do anything? Is there anybody I could do this to? Here, I'll do create update. There's the update, and that's what your staff members will see as well. So, all right, so the last thing to cover, turning in your app files after everything's been signed and you're ready to turn in like a signed contract, an offer. At the top here where it says edit, you're going to click down and say it's going to be offer however they want you to name it, whether they need the FMLS number, check on the naming. I'm going to change this from buyer status now to new pending. New pending, scroll down. I've changed the status because it's been completed and I save changes. Now, those two ways that I just explained, turning in your buyer brokerage, changing this over to new pending, is how three office managers have explained how they would like it to be turned in. That's why I'm suggesting this. Okay. And that's the odds and ends of AppFiles. Honestly, do I have any questions? It's not too bad. Like I explained earlier, create a test app file. Literally, your home address, like you're buying your own home, and go through all the steps as if you were buying it. And if you're really new to AppFile, after you complete it, submit it to your staff member and let them know that you are testing out AppFiles and you want them to review it. Make sure everything looks right, because once you have it done right once, you'll do it right from now on out. So, do I have any more questions? Everybody got quiet at the end. That's very bizarre. Hey, Ryan, what's up?
Yeah, it's not a question, because it's to kind of piggyback on trying it out yourself. Under a file type, there's actually agent test files. So that's how Avery at the Intown office told me to categorize everything. So your office,
Sure,
front desk manager, anybody in marketing doesn't think it's a new listing, and then
exactly.
they're emailing you and you're
Oh, I
like,
love Avery.
yeah,
Love Avery.
so.
You know when before she became the broker, she and I were teaching classes over here at West Cobb together.
Oh, okay.
And we both have the same mentality. You're only going to get good at something when you test it.
True.
You know, and I nudge people with the CRM every day. They say, oh, the CRM is so hard. And I say, how frequent do you use it? Oh, and you hear them get quiet. And I'm just
Never.
like, the last time you used it for was an Easter card. So that's how I feel about this. And Avery says the same thing. So yeah, we just want you to test it, get comfortable so that when that opportunity comes up with a buyer or a seller, you're not in the dark. You can get your way to a certain point where your staff members can checkpoint you and you can close the deal. So that's cool. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll hang out and answer any questions. If anybody has anything AppFile related or anything else, I'm here. So I hope everyone enjoyed the class, and this class will be up on YouTube tomorrow morning. So if you need to go back and review some of what we discussed, it'll be there. And yeah, I hope everyone is staying healthy and happy. And if you need me, you can reach out to me.
I do have a quick one. Can you show me how to create master templates for a buyer brokerage?
Oh, yeah.
engagement,
Sorry about
a
that.
list?
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry about that. Let me. AppFiles just called me. I like it.
They did. They were calling to tell me that my NRDS number or something like that was not authorized, but it's because when I had applied to the realtor they sent me an email and I just copied and pasted it in, and I forgot the period at the end.
Sure. Yeah, so that's actually, it's, every time I teach this class in person, I have that happen once. An agent will try to add a document in, and all of a sudden a window will pop up and say, please insert your NERDS number. See, you're the special one today. You just didn't know it. So if that comes up, yes, you need your NERDS number. Most of the time your office manager has it and has sent you an email with it in there. So yeah, if yours didn't go in, then you did exactly what you're supposed to do. You reached out to AppFiles and said, hey, I have this number.
Oh no, they called me to tell me that, because when I was first doing it, it had the period at the end. It was saying it was unauthorized. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, why is it unauthorized? This is the email that I got straight from the realtors. So I forgot the period. So I erased the period and it went through just fine. But she called because they were like, yeah, so AppFiles letting us know that your NRDS number is unauthorized. And I was like, oh.
Hey, they stay up on these things, right? Oh, I like it. Let's see. Let me bring up. Let's see. So back to what we were talking about with the template. So what I did when I created the template is I created a new app file, and I named it template buyer agent. Okay. Same as if I did a seller too. I do a template seller agent, and I included all the documents that I feel like I need in a continuous manner. Okay. I have my buyer brokerage, my purchase and sale, and all the different all the different financing options, my GAR clauses, and the new DPN property information form, which is DPN's your way of submitting to accounting. So I have all these documents in there. Okay. Sometimes the DPN is filled in by your staff members. Sometimes it's filled by the agent. It's one of those situations. I never know who fills in, who doesn't anymore, but we've added it to AppFiles, which is important. On the right side, I'm continuously using this particular lender because it's my preferred lender. So this template may not work for every time for me, but it will most of the time because I use this lender. As I scroll further down, I also have more information about myself that will always be there. Okay, so I've cut out all that other minutia. I have all this stuff filled in, and I could have filled in more, of course. But the reason why I'm doing this is that I want to come over here to my right side where it says copy this app file. And this is where I'm going to name it. So file name will now be different. This will now be, I'm just going to put my sister in there. That'd be fun. Jennifer Burr. Okay. Scroll down a little bit further. If I have any pre-information about Jennifer Burr, I can fill this in because I'm just creating the folder like we did earlier. I'll click next. Now, these are all of the documents that I had originally in my template. Okay. Say she needs only, it's an all cash sale. So I'm going to take off these financing options, and the information in my info fields are going to stay the same because she is using Prosperity Mortgage and I am the agent on this. And all I have to do is click create app files, and all those pages are already in there pre-filled. And I hit create app file. It'll start creating, and there it is. So it just depends on how much you want into that template that's going to cut out all those steps that you and I were just going through a standard situation in AppFiles. And here it is. Click here to open. New folder for Jen Burr's there. Here's all the documents. All the information on the right stuff is there. Not bad, right?
Cool. So
Yeah.
then you select everything that might be needed, regardless if it's a cash, conventional, VA, and then
Totally.
uncheck it when you go to create the app file for Jennifer Burr, Ryan Carroll, or whoever, right?
Yep,
Okay.
that's it. Yeah, you're taking away the guessing. It's already there. Yeah, she's going to be doing an FHA. Deselect the other financing options, open up the new app file, and now everything's there, and I can just move on with Jennifer Burr.
Okay, so at like the very first step of creating a new app file right now, and I did the same thing, file name template hyphen buyer And so should I
Yeah.
put the file type under buyer or
Well, I mean,
test?
well, yeah,
or
I mean, if you're
agent test?
doing, well, this is a buyer template, right?
I was
so
just
yeah,
making
buyer.
sure. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, you're making me
Don't
second guess
overthink it.
myself, Ryan.
Okay.
Yes, you would name it, you would set it as a buyer. I mean, you could always change it too. Nothing like this is set in stone. You could come into your editor here and you could switch it to a seller instead. Say that she's decided that she has to sell first, you could switch that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very simple. So I would make a buyer one, I'd make a seller one, and you might have some unusual situations as well. So you could also have your leasing, that you need a lease folder in there as well. So yeah, I like that you brought this up because, when I first taught creating a template like this, the glazed eyes were just everywhere. And I'm like, I'm telling you, you're making a ghost account, basically, that you're going to copy depending on the situation.
Okay. So, and this is just a question then relating to the listing I have right now with Campbell and Brannon emailed me a legal description. So
Okay.
then could I go into my or Harry Norman email, open that email address and forward it to the copied email address of the app file for that listing?
Yes, absolutely.
Just trying to put
No,
piece
you're killing
together
it. That's
now.
all. I'm just like, yeah, Ryan.
Okay.
That's exactly what you would do. Yes, you would directly forward it into it and it'll be there. Or you could have downloaded and uploaded it using the upload button. But yeah, you're good to go with that.
Cool.
Cool. I like it. Y'all are also going to have some other situations. Some offices have marketing coordinators that have marketing request forms that you're going to have to fill out. So it just trial it all out. Just like what you're doing with this template. If you want to try a template-based system, do it. If you would prefer to do each individual app files a certain way, doing the parts, do it that way. Anything that makes things easier. But one thing I really want to remind people, do not miss out on these form values. Don't miss out. Go in there, fill it in once, do your purchase and sale, your buyer brokerage, fill in what you can already fill in, because those values will be helpful later on. Well, I hope that helped. I mean, that was cool. Do I have any more questions? Of course, right?
Yeah, man. Thank you. That helped a lot.
Yeah, no, not a problem. If y'all run into anything, just reach out. If y'all are trying something, I can hop into your app files. I have an admin status that I can just log in and see where you're at. It's all good.
Great. Thank you, Drew.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Hey, not a
Drew.
problem, y'all.
Thanks.
Have a great day and be sure to check out my class next week. I'm really excited about Content is Key. I've been wanting to teach this for a while, and the design that you can do with sub pages it's pretty awesome, honestly.
I'll be there. I'm excited.
Cool.
Be there. See you,
Right
man.
on.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Not a problem. See y'all.